And
I'm
this
Jason.
is Jason.
Jason.
You said that. I thought I was going to talk for a second.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, all right. So he's going to let me talk and kind of open this up because he knows a lot more than I do. But we're coming to you live today from Movidia Technology Group. I'm Eric, CEO of Movidia. Jason is one of our very smart SEO gurus here at Movidia, and we're going to start a little thing where we do a live Q&A. Now, many of you know that we also own a Bronco restoration shop of all things, and that's why I'm in a Max Lighter shirt today, because we're also doing a Bronco Q&A later this afternoon. So if you have any Bronco questions, you can come and ask me that here in about 2 hours. But for now, we're at Movidia, and we're going to start sharing some of our knowledge. You know, we have a lot of smart people like Jason who know a lot about technology for the small business, and we want to share that with you. We feel like we've got a pretty good recipe for helping small businesses succeed on the internet. And with our strategy and with our process and our services, we can help you not only have a fantastic website that's better than your competitors, but also leverage that website so that it translates into new business and new sales for you. And so we're going to start a little segment where we get some of our highly intelligent Movidians and put them live on camera and get them to ask some questions or answer some questions that you may have as a small business owner about your website, about your internet marketing, maybe even about the way you you support your technology, your computers and your servers and things of that nature. What's cloud computing? You know, all those kinds of things. So we're going to start here today with a little SEO and internet marketing Q&A with Jason, because he's one of the guys that does that for our clients. So how you doing, Jason?
Doing good.
You excited for this first of a kind of deal?
About as excited as I forget.
That's right. He's really excited. He's very excited. Well, what's interesting is we're using this new feature called Facebook Live, right?
I've heard of it.
You've heard of it?
Yep.
Yeah. So why don't we give people real quickly a little explanation about what Facebook Live even is, because I think that's a good start here since we're talking about internet marketing.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people here have already seen it, but it's basically a live video feed on Facebook that you can use. It gets a lot of engagement if you've got a Facebook page, and Facebook actually pushes these live feeds in front of people and can alert people when you're live. But
oh, really?
Yep.
I didn't know
You
that.
actually get an alert if you're signed up for an alert if somebody goes live. So hopefully some people here got that. Anyway, so it's a video like any other video, but it's live. So it does get preference in the Facebook feed, which is always good if you're looking to reach customers, clients, potential customers. In a nutshell, that's what it is.
So let me break a couple things down, because you said some things that I didn't even know, and I use Facebook Live. I've used it a few times, both personally and for business. And so I want to talk a little bit about that. But in terms of some of the things you said, so you can get alerted, or it will send people alerts
Yep.
when you're going live.
Yep.
So how does that part work?
For example, so on my phone, people get alerts on their phones, unless you got them all turned off. And I know you get one or two. And so, for example, when MaxLighter went live with your last Q&A video last week or whatever day that was, I got the little alert on my phone. My phone vibrated, and I swiped to see what it was. It said MaxLighter is live.
Oh, really?
So I was like, okay, cool. I'll check these guys out. And so Facebook likes to push this in front of people, which is super awesome. Gives people a chance to interact with you. Like we're doing today, we're doing a Q&A. They can, comment, ask questions, participate, give us cool thumbs up. I'm
They
waiting.
float across the
See it.
screen. Anybody do a
Anybody?
thumbs up?
Okay.
There
I'll
you
keep
go.
talking.
Someone did it.
So that answer your question?
Have mercy. Yeah. So I think that's pretty cool because, from a So you could use it not just as a person on your personal page, but you can use it on your business page too.
Yeah, personal
right?
profile or your business page.
Okay. So as a marketing tool, there's probably all kinds of ways
Sure.
that you can use Facebook Live to go live
Yep.
from your Facebook page and do a Q&A like this, like we're doing today, where we're going to answer some of our, whether it's clients or prospects or just general small business owners that have questions about the Q&A. Do things like that. Do product overviews.
Yeah, product overviews. I mean, on site, if you're a landscaper, you just finished a job, do a walk around, live right there on the spot.
Yeah.
So the possibilities are endless. It could be, on site, product reviews, tours of your office, whatever.
Yeah, especially if you're a small business owner and have a product or service that's very visual, right? So Jason mentioned landscapers. We use it in our Bronco business because people like to look at Broncos. So maybe you deal in the automobile industry, or you've got cool products. Maybe you're a furniture store. Fill in the blank. Maybe you're a coffee shop that has cool things to look at, but you're a visually oriented type of business. You can get a lot of mileage out of Facebook Live.
Yep, and video on Facebook is hot right now.
Go ahead. I didn't interrupt you.
That's all I had to say.
I like to interrupt you because you said one thing that I wanted to get back to earlier, and that's Facebook gives special treatment
Yep.
to Facebook Live posts.
They
so
will
break that down so people understand what that means.
So, as anybody who's been on Facebook knows, all of us, have multiple friends. Maybe a couple of us do.
I've only got one friend.
So, all of ours are.
But I really love that friend. Thank you.
So, multiple friends, multiple pages we like, groups, So, it's impossible to show all of that to everyone. So, Facebook has an algorithm. They figure out what you like to interact with, what you comment on, what you selected to follow. There's a default setting, and then you can mark certain pages or friends to, have preferential treatment. Well, Facebook, since they like their Facebook Live feature, they push this stuff. And everybody's seen Facebook Live. It's in your feed every time you look. And that's why. They want to get this in front of people. So it's a super way to get exposure. The typical business page, as some of you know, you make a post on Facebook, and you might have 500 likes on your page, and you get 2 likes on that post, or 3 likes, or 1 comment, because a small portion of people see that post. Well, with Facebook Live, it's going to get a lot more eyeballs on it.
Yeah, that's a great point. So from if you want to put your business in front of people perspective, you might strongly consider Facebook Live using that tool, because right now it's new, it's hot, everyone's really curious about it. I find myself watching people, no offense to some of my friends, but people that are just talking about literally nothing, just about their thoughts on whatever, and because it's cool and new, I watch it and kind of pay attention to it. And I'm going, wow, that's a powerful tool potentially for a business.
Yep,
Yeah.
definitely.
So it's a great icebreaker as we talk about Facebook Live, using Facebook Live. One of the things I wanted to point out is if you're going to do a video like this where you got 2 people in it, you got to sit really close. So Jason and I are actually kind of playing a little elbowy.
Yeah, we both ate lunch, so we're burping on each other.
Yeah, it's
kind of.
You don't want to be here. I'm glad you're there watching, but you wouldn't want to be here in this room. But you got to sit kind of close, so you got to kind of figure that out, part of the technology and part of the logistical stuff. But once you get through it, it could be really cool. So let's move on. I wanted to talk about, so the idea of SEO is really a big conversation, right? There's just a lot to it.
Let me pause right there. So that stands for search engine optimization.
Mm-hmm.
Just so everybody knows.
Great point. Thanks. Stop me when I use an acronym that people might understand. So search engine optimization. So optimizing your web presence so that it can be found online, mainly search engines,
Yep.
right? Primarily search engine optimization. So what are those things that you can do to optimize your website, to optimize your online presence so that you can be found online and people come to you to look at products and services. So SEO, well, that's a massive conversation,
Definitely.
right? There's 1,000,006 different things, probably more than that, maybe 1,000,007.
That's probably enough.
Lots of stuff you can do online to help generate traffic to your website. And so we're here to talk about some of the basics. You know, it can get really overwhelming, and I think when we talk to clients sometime, or prospects, clients, they tend to get overwhelmed because they're not sure what to do and what to do first and why they should do that first and that sort of thing. So I wanted to start with talking about just three.
Okay.
Three of the most important things that a small business owner can do, right? If they've got a website, which you better have a website, and it better be a good website.
If
you
not,
don't-
we know somebody.
If we know somebody, but if you don't, you're missing the boat, people. That's just, they're all there is to it. Your competitors are going to beat you online, and they're going to win the business away from you, and that's a bad deal, right? It doesn't take much of an investment to make a great website. More on that later. That's a whole other soapbox that I like to get on. But let's say they have a good website and they want to generate some traffic through it. Three most important things that they start with from an SEO perspective.
Well, if I had to pick three, it's kind of hard, but the first thing I would do, if you don't have it already, is to create a Google My Business listing or claim your Google My Business listing.
Now, wait, what would you say that one more
So
time?
it's called Google My Business.
My Business.
And what that is, if you do a search on Google, say for roofers, Bloomington IL, you know, you might see a couple of ads at the top, you know, 2-3 ads, and then you'll see like a map with 3 listings generally, and those are your Google My Business listings. And then below those, you have all of your organic results, and then maybe a couple more ads. And of course, you have ads on the right if you're on a desktop device. But those 3 results in the maps area are Google My Business listings. You can look, you know, you can click See More under that, and it'll give you more than 3. And you know, obviously, it's nice if you're in the top 3 for the keyword phrase, but it's really, really tough. But if you're not there when somebody clicks See More, then, you know, unless you're running an ad at the top or you're right there at the top in the organic, you're not going to be seen. Now, Google's bots generally find business information, unless you're brand spanking new, from other places in the web, like Super Pages, you know, Chamber of Commerce, etc. And their bots usually assemble a business listing for everybody. So if you haven't done anything like that, chances are, if you do a search for it, you can find your Google My Business listing, and then you just need to claim it, which involves, you know, a phone verification or a postcard mailer with a PIN number, and there's a lot of things you can add to it, you know, photos, link to your website, business hours, description, etc.
So I think one of the things that comes to mind is if you want to optimize yourself for the search engine, you have to actually tell the search engine you're out there, right?
Yeah.
So Google My Business is one of the ways to verify and register yourself with Google.
Yep, definitely. And like I said, you may already be there, but chances are your listing is not complete or it's not optimized, and there's tons of different ways to do that. That's a whole other conversation.
That's a big conversation.
But that's definitely step one, is to exist and at least have a complete Google My Business listing.
Yeah. Well, and one of the best, you know, the best pieces of news we could share is what's the cost of doing that?
Completely free, just a little time.
Free. So Google provides this as a free resource,
Yep.
right, for you to do that. Now, I'll scare them a little bit because although it's a free service, you can still do it wrong. And a lot of what Jason and his team does is unwind some of the wrong stuff that's done historically by previous business owners or web service providers. And in that world, in the SEO world, it's all about alignment and having everything registered the same way. And we'll get into that more probably in later episodes of this. But having alignment in some of your online, in all of your online presence requires you to start with a good foundation, and Google My Business is that. Now, wasn't that called something else?
It used to be called Google Places, Google Local Business, Google Maps, and there's still Google Maps, but it's been called a few things.
Yeah.
Google My Business is what it's called this week,
So it's going to change probably.
more than likely.
Thus, part of the reason to work with someone who knows what they're doing, like Jason, because you're paying attention to that.
Yep.
Right? It's all about
They make
knowing.
changes to that every couple of weeks, generally.
Yeah. So knowing the changes, knowing the new technology, whether it's Google Business or Google My Business or Facebook Live, right? People like this are really important to have around. So that's number one, right?
Yep.
Number two, what's the second most important thing to do?
I would say create a Facebook page for your business if you don't have one. If you do have one, fill in your about section, link to your website. There's usually a short description, a long description, depending on the type of business you are. If you've got products or services, gives you an opportunity to add those there. And, actually use it, make posts. We've got tons of clients with Facebook pages that, they just kind of sit stagnant.
Yeah.
That isn't going to do you any good. There are definitely types of businesses that can, utilize Facebook better than others. And, we've got clients that just do awesome on Facebook, and we've got other clients that, maybe their clientele it just doesn't fit as well, and we understand that. But, those clients still have a presence on Facebook for those people who do, follow them on there. But, there's lots of potential there too, to engage with your customers. There's options to, not only supply them with content, and a little promotion here and there. Don't do a Facebook page just to push your stuff all the time, because people are going to get sick and tired of it and either unlike the page or just ignore it. So, kind of like an 80-20 rule, about 80% content, information, helpful things, and about 20% self-promotion.
Yeah. I think the important thing to remember for businesses is Facebook is not just a social tool for personal use. It's a powerful business tool if you can leverage it, if you can figure out how to leverage it. One of the things I encourage small businesses to do is use their social media presence to just be transparent. Allow people to get to know the people in the business and the business itself through Facebook. There's lots of ways you could do that,
Yep.
right? There's whether it's a picture of the event that you had with the employees, or a client event, or someone doing something funny in the office. Maybe you give to you have a philanthropic event or fundraiser that you want to showcase, or celebrating a new client. We like to celebrate new clients in the video. We'll post, a new client, a new website launch, and here, go check out the before and after, and just all kinds of ways. Be creative. People love unique things.
And just be real, be people.
Yeah.
You don't have to be all businessy. I mean, we definitely aren't.
Yep.
And,
Hey. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
And just engage with people.
Yep. Get the conversation started, and when people engage with you, engage back.
Yep.
Keep building that relationship. Maybe
Ask
in a virtual-
questions. You can get Facebook, Facebook
Feedback. We ought to start that. Feedback.com.
And they're actually, you can create a poll. If you want to find out what your clients like, or what your clients' feedback might be on something, you can create a poll. You can ask them.
Yeah.
You know,
So we got a question. We got a live question.
awesome.
So hey, Kim's here following us. Hey Kim, you're the first question on Movidia's Facebook Live SEO Q&A. I'm so excited. And she says, how often should you post on Facebook? So we get this question a lot, right? And then she has a follow-up question. What is the best day and time to post? So how often should you post? I'm assuming, Kim, for a business perspective, not necessarily a personal social perspective, but so we're going to answer it that way. From a business perspective, how often should you post? And then what's the best day and time?
Well, that varies. It's a pretty broad question. I would say off the top of my head, as a best, how often, depends on the business, depends on how much time you have to commit to it. I, like to have my clients at least do a couple times a week. If they can't do every day, don't feel like you have to do every day. Don't feel like you have to do 2-3 times a day. Some people do, some people don't.
I don't know any of those people.
Yeah, or 15 times a day with 3 videos in between.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's cool.
So, anyway,
So Kim says she's an educational consultant. So from a business perspective, answering the question, she's a one-woman show, smiley face. So God bless you, Kim. Keep doing what you're doing. So small business consultant. So she's asking, how often and best day and time. Now, Jason, you say find something that fits in your lifestyle.
fits in your schedule, and also what I would do is, if you've got a lot of extra time, set up like a 3-a-week schedule at least. If you can do more comfortably and come up with content comfortably, then do more. What I would recommend is, I don't know how old your Facebook page is. I'm assuming you have one, Kim. But one thing that I like to do is once you can experiment with different days and different times. And as for times, the number one time that most people are reached on mobile devices is in the evening. Most people are home, they're sitting around, maybe they've eaten dinner already or they're waiting for dinner. That's the number one time that people can view your stuff. Now, around lunchtime, maybe first thing in the morning, or probably another couple. But what I like to do is once you have a lot of posts out there with maybe some varying times and days, go to your Facebook page, and up at the top, go over to the Insights tab, and then go down to all
Hang on a sec. I'm gonna try to.
Yeah, here I'm gonna
See if I can hear it. You drive, and I'll see if will this work. It's kind of blown out.
All right, so here's Movidia's Facebook page, and at the top is Insights. You'll click Insights, and you can actually go to Posts on the left. And here you'll see all of your posts published, and it shows you the day and the time to the left of each one. So you look in this middle column, Reach, that shows you how many people actually saw that post, and the engagement, comments, likes, shares. So look at the high reach, and then look at the corresponding times, and kind of use that as a rule of thumb.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say, Jason, is when someone asks me about how often should they post, my answer is consistently, right? So
Yep.
I don't necessarily give them you need to do it 10 times a day or once a week or whatever. I just tell them consistently. Find a time that works well for you. When we started doing it at the Bronco business, I set a goal of once a day, and I try to carve out some time, whether it was on lunch, at lunchtime, or first thing, or first thing I do when I get there, or last thing I do, just consistently. Once you start to build some momentum with people coming out there and looking at your stuff and finding value, they're going to come back, and so they don't want to come back and not see anything. On top of that, you want to stay top of mind and stay active, and it keeps people feeling like the content's fresh and new, and that you're actually using it, leveraging it. So it works. It works when you do it consistently. So consistently, one of the things we've noticed is we'll mess around with the time of day and the types of stuff we put out time of day. And we've learned. I won't break down all the stuff we've learned, but I've learned that if I post something around noontime, I'm going to get a little bit different audience than the people that tune in after 5 p.m.
Yep.
By 5 to 6 p.m. So that's another thing we've realized is I can reach one audience at around lunchtime because that's when it's convenient for them. They're taking lunch break and they've got their phone and they're doing this, flipping through, right? Or when they get home, or even late at night. So play around with some things that work for you. Just stay consistent. So I've got a few more questions that come in. Let's see. I got to scroll around. So Sean says, do Facebook posts increase your clout on search engines? Man, that's a great question.
So the short answer depends on what your definition of clout is. Now, it doesn't help you rank better. Now, that being said, social activity, if you've got people talking about your website, liking and sharing. There are, there's code and plugins you can add to your website. If someone's sharing your pages or liking, a blog post, things like that, do help. That social engagement does help. Just posting on your Facebook page, having an active Facebook page, I would say that in itself does not. Does that help? Is that what you needed?
Good. I was curious about that same thing. I think obviously there's so many different things you could do, and so knowing what can contribute to better SEO rankings and what doesn't, and how to compartmentalize some of the social tools and whatnot is important. Building a plan around that. There's so much that you don't know because it changes all the time, and it's why having someone in your life like Jason to help lead you through that, you can. And maybe this is our next question I'll ask, because I get this a lot, is, do I run the risk of doing things that don't work?
Well, I think we all do.
And I think the fear is, I'm going to go spend all this time as a business owner and doing this stuff.
Right.
And I could spend an unlimited amount of time. I could spend 10 hours a week and it not contribute to my rankings or my online presence.
Right. So I think it's important to, ask people questions, the answers to the questions you don't know. Find somebody who is successful and has done it. And, even if it's, if you're not paying somebody for that, I'm sure you know another business owner who does have a successful Facebook page, or at least gets the activity, and you kind of ask them what hardships and, speed up that learning curve. But, even with my video, we've got tons of posts out there, tons of likes, shares, all that stuff. But you know what? We make posts now and then that nobody responds to.
No.
We have that issue too.
Not us.
And mostly if it's, Eric's in the picture or something.
Mostly it's my
Pretty
dumb
much.
posts.
But that's a risk. But you know what? You can't really worry about that. You need to just keep on plugging away.
I think you said something key there, which or what I heard was, find someone that's doing it well and then learn from them.
Yep.
Right? Find someone in your industry. Go search out there and try to seek people who are doing it. Get some ideas from them. I mean, the best ideas are already done, right? Borrow them. Learn from other people doing some of the same things, and it'll give you some great ideas to execute in your small business. So let's see, we got a couple more questions. What about posting on weekends? Is that generally a higher or lower time for reach and engagement?
Well, I would say most people are available on the weekends. But again, it depends on your business. And you're going to have to experiment.
And the post, and the type of
Yeah,
post.
and the type of post. Look at your insights, that little tab I pointed out, and try it out and see. You'll be able to see what kind of visibility you get. Experiment in a couple of times. Compare that to your weekday times. Another thing, I want to backtrack a little bit. Some of you probably already know this, but when you go to publish a post, I'm going to...
Hang on a second. Let me see if I can get it on screen again. This is great. We show people live some of the stuff that you're talking about.
All right, hopefully you can see it on the screen.
Yeah. Go ahead. I think it's pretty good.
Okay, so I'm going to click in here like I'm going to write a post, and instead of publish, click this little drop down arrow next to it, and you can schedule it. So you can actually schedule posts out. If you have a chunk of time, if you have a hard time sitting down and doing a post every now and then, if you have a chunk of time, you can sit down and schedule your weeks or next 2 weeks posts. You can pick the date and the time that they actually go out. And when you have the post written, so I'm going to back up here a little bit, actually write the post, you can add the photo, whatever. So when all that's done, that's when you would click schedule, pick your time and date, click schedule, and it's done. And the way, if you have more than one of those, you can go back into the insights, your posts, and if you have scheduled posts, it's going to be up in the top area here, so you can see which ones you've got scheduled, and you can actually go back in and edit those. You can modify the date and time if you want to change them, or you can just refresh your memory and see what you've already got scheduled. So kind of a neat feature.
Yeah. You know what? You learn something new every day because I didn't even know you could do that. So,
Are you serious?
I have a technology company. So I think part of the reason I point that out is a lot of people are scared to use some of these tools. That they're scared to try it. That they're scared of what they don't know, and it's impossible to know everything. So don't feel badly. Ask questions. I didn't know that you could schedule posts like that. So, man, that's cool because perhaps you're the type of person that needs to sit back and think about things and kind of plan around it. Well, do that. Carve out an hour a week that you could just plan some of your posts. Create 4 or 5 of them, one a day, whatever the case might be, that you can then queue up and then deploy that. You know, maybe you're riding the small business roller coaster every day, and it's hard for you to get to Facebook. I understand that. Maybe your best time is Sunday night before the week starts, right? You know, find a time that works for you and just stay consistent. The other thing is ask, right? Ask and study people that you can find that are doing it, because you can learn so much from them. Let's see. I have another question. How do you make your website come up in a Google search, and do you have to pay for it? Well, there's a lot of answer to that one.
That is a very broad question.
Thanks for that question, Kim,
That's a big question.
because it's a big one. So let's try to break that down. Let's take it one at a time, real quick. So, how do you make your website come up in a Google search? And so, let's first talk about the different types of results that people are going to see when they do a Google search. And before you answer that, I'm going to remind everybody that the role of a search engine is to provide its users with quality information. Okay, so a search engine is a search engine because people can go there and find information quickly. Quality info, right? So keep in mind that Google and any other search engine, above all, is trying to provide quality results to their users. Okay? They provide different types of results. Can you break down real quick the different types of results?
Okay, so if you're on a desktop, laptop, desktop computer, and if you do a search, let's say it's a local search. So you're looking for a plumber or a dentist or an orthodontist, a roofer, whatever. You generally would search, whatever like niche it is, your city, state, and your results come up. So, for example, type in like plumbing or plumbers in Bloomington, Illinois, and you'll have some ads come up at the top. Those are Google AdWords ads. Those are paid ads.
Those are paid.
Those are paid.
And they're still at the top.
They're at the top, and it says ad to the left of them. You might have some down to the right side, and you usually have some at the very bottom of the page under the standard organic results. So you have paid ads, if it's something that people are running ads for. And then you have your Google My Business listings, your map and 3 listings. Under that, you generally have 10 or so organic. Those are organic search results. So that's websites those are free. That's free. They've obviously generally done work to get to that point, unless there's not a whole lot of competition. And then of course at the bottom of the page are the paid listings again. So you can get on page 1 of Google by a lot of work by getting your website ranked, or yes, you can pay to play. The second question. So I'm going to branch out on that a little bit. The second question, do you have to pay for it? Well, that third, in the beginning, Eric wanted me to mention 3 top things I would do as a small business.
Kind of got away from that.
And
I have shiny object syndrome.
Yeah,
so
there's lots of squirrels around.
There's
definitely. So I'm going to get to that third thing, and that third thing is Google AdWords. Those are the paid AdWords ads. You can literally, have an ad, put it together, and have an ad at the top of the page within hours. Once it's approved, if you've done things right, and you can be on page 1 today. That's instant exposure. So that's assuming you've got a website, assuming you've got a halfway decent website, so then they click that and it goes to a relevant page on the website that, hopefully they'll give you a call. or fill out a contact form or whatever your call to action is. Hopefully you've got one. And so that's that third thing is, it's pretty cheap for a local business to get involved with Google AdWords, and you can totally control your budget.
Yeah.
It's not unlimited.
Yeah.
You can, and it's set up by spend per day. That's something that they've changed. So you could set a $5 budget per day. Multiply an average, 30 days in a month. So $150 a month. You can set a $5 a day budget, and you're getting clicks every day. There's things that are involved in getting to that point. You got to do some keyword research, got to put the ads together. Little things you can do, but it's fairly easy to do.
Yeah. So let me get this straight. I want to ask a quick question because I want to make sure people understand this. Could you literally advertise on Google for $1 a day?
Yep. Yeah, you can set your budget at $1 a day, but it's going to depend on the
price.
demand of the keyword phrase. So if you've got a keyword phrase like plumbing Bloomington IL, your average cost per click, and you only pay for your ads if someone clicks on your ad, and it's by keyword phrase. So your ads are triggered by keyword phrases that you specify. And if something like a plumber, the average cost per click is going to be more than $1. But depending on the niche or your type of business or the phrase, there are some that you might be able to get less than $1, but you're only going to pay if somebody clicks on it. You can sit there all day, every day. If and you're still getting branding. If somebody clicks on it, that's when you pay.
Yeah, I think the point I was trying to illustrate is you can try it and dabble around with it for so little money.
Yep.
And you control it, right? So it doesn't get out of control, and all of a sudden you have this big giant bill. I've had people that have been scared of doing that because they're afraid they're going to get whopped with this bill. They can dip their toe in there and try it and see what happens, and then learn from that and improve and modify. Now, what I will say is that you're going to pay in that process. You're going to pay for the education that people like Jason already have, right? So whether you want to bother learning it, and it's a lot of information, I know because I used to do it myself personally. It's a lot of stuff to figure out. Having a good quality partner is important because they understand it and they're paying attention to it. So it's about leveraging that knowledge and that experience. But so let's see, how much time? I'm looking to my marketing person, Kim. Kim, how much time do we have left? We've only got a few minutes left. I thought so. We like to talk. I like to talk. So I'll be here all day if you let me. But that would bore everyone to death. So one more question. When just starting up and working hard to be, so a startup business, when you're a startup business, what's the best area in which to spend money? Okay, so there's a lot of places online that you can spend your marketing budget, right? You can spend it in Google Ads, you can spend it in Facebook advertising, you can spend it in banner advertising and things like that. And so, for just I got a little money in the budget, Jason, and I want to go put it out there. How do I won't ask what's the best place to go first, but how do I figure out the best place to go first? Because that's really the essence of the question.
Well, that's a tough one, and there is some trial and error. I'm obviously well versed in Google AdWords. We do Facebook advertising as well, and I still do tests for our clients because it's different for everybody. If I had a super tight budget, there are coupons for Google AdWords out there. A lot of times you can do a search online. We have them available for our clients. I don't have them, available to hand out. But if you, want a coupon from Google, they're pretty easy to find. usually $100 or $150 coupon that kicks in after you've spent a certain dollar amount. So it's like, doubling your money. Or it used to be after a $30 spend. I think now they match it. So if you spend $100, they give you $100, or it's probably different this week. They're always changing.
Yeah, it's always different.
But you can do that. When you do Google AdWords, it's easy to spend a lot of money quick if you don't set it up properly. So, that's important. You could blow through that pretty easy. Same with Facebook ads. Facebook ads, there are tons of targeting options, even with consultants, like you've mentioned. Probably the first thing I would do before spending money would be to A, have a website, B, have a Facebook page and grow that Facebook page. Get some meat and potatoes on there, not just a handful of posts. Then maybe you can create a Facebook page post engagement ad, which basically is like a boosted post. And that's generally the cheapest way to get exposure. It may not be direct conversion, like if you're sending it to a website or whatever, that's actually more expensive. But it's a natural way to get eyeballs on your stuff. If you can create a post, something that people are interested in, not just, hey, here's my thing for sale, here's where you can sign up. That's not going to get as much exposure. But if you can get somebody some good content, somebody that, so you're a consultant, I don't know what type of consultant you are, but, give somebody some free info or something that might appeal to people. You can boost that post, spend some time looking into the different audiences that you can target. There's a Facebook tool that it's called Audience Insights. You can Google it. I don't remember the URL. So Facebook Audience Insights. Do your research there when you're looking for your demographic, and it will tell you what your age range of the people who like these particular pages are, and whether they're men or women, and you can narrow that down a little bit so you're not spending unnecessary money to get your ad in front of eyeballs who probably won't convert and like your stuff. Mm-hmm. So
that's impressive.
There's a lot more you could do, but that's just a starting point.
This is the tip of the iceberg, everyone. The amount of opportunity and technologies and tools that you can use, limitless. And it reminds me that we've got some incredibly intelligent people here that really care about the impact they make for our clients, like Jason and so many others. And we'd love to help you and your small business win on the internet. There's so many people that aren't winning on the internet, and they're just flat out missing the boat. They could have a gorgeous website that actually creates new business for them consistently, and they're not doing it. In later episodes, maybe next week, we're going to talk about the fact that we've polled about 100 business owners, and we're going to give you their results and how they're ranking their website and their online presence, and the results are absolutely going to shock you. And so there's a lot of people that know that there's a deficit but just don't know where to go. We're going to start doing this on a regular basis. I'm not sure if it's going to be weekly or how often, but Jason and I are going to sit down and talk SEO and internet marketing and whatnot and try to help you out. So stay tuned for those. We want to encourage you to go to Facebook and give us a review. If you like the content that we're doing, let us know, right? Without your feedback, we're not going to know if what we're doing is making a difference. We're going to donate our time to try to help you guys. We're just trying to figure out what the best tool and the right message is so that we can make an impact on your small business. So please go to Facebook and review us and let us know if you like what we're doing. Our website is Mavidea, MAVIDEA.com. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I want to thank Jason for being here and sharing just a little bit of all the information he has floating around in this thing right here.
Bald head.
His bald head, right. But we're going to come back. So keep hitting our Facebook page and hitting the like button, and we'll see you very soon.
Thanks, guys.